Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Sam here to break down the NASCAR Cup Series race at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway on DraftKings. We got a lot to get in here. Pretty nice race, some interesting plays that are probably going to be chalky. We got to get a little bit different. So we'll get into all of that. Before I do, if you're new here, make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to this channel. It really helps me grow. Just trying to continue all the growth we've had throughout NASCAR season. We've had a lot of growth and just trying to keep it going. This is only the fourth weekend of NASCAR, so got a long season ahead of us, and I'll be making videos for every single race all year. So be sure to stick around. Make sure to leave, if you want to get more of my content, you can always click the link below for my Patreon. It's going to be $10 a month. You're going to get spreadsheets, data for every single series, all of them combined, along with projections. You're going to get rankings, cash cores, optimal lineups, what I expect the optimal line to be, what drivers need to do to hit value, a ton of stuff, only $10 a month, all three series combined. So go hit the link down below for that. I've also partnered with America DFS to be the content creator or content provider in their Discord, so be sure to go hit the Discord link down below as well. I think it's really important to just talk about DFS with other people to get better at DFS. So go down there and click that link as well. And then, of course, you can follow me on Twitter. The link is there as well. So that's really all I got to say on that. Let's get into the plays. That's all I know what you guys want to hear. Kyle Busch is going to be the first guy we're going to talk about. I'm not really too interested here in Kyle Busch. I think he's going to get ownership because he's Kyle Busch. He starts 14th. He's the most expensive driver. Those three things combined is probably going to give us some ownership here. But I'm not really too big on him. He hasn't really been great at Vegas over his whole career. Seventh best average finish, third best intermediate zone, third best at steep tracks, but only the 10th best average position at Vegas over the last 3 years, and only 30 laps led. Not going to be someone who, especially without this whole no practicing, hasn't really been super strong. I don't think this is going to be a spot where Kyle's going to do very well. So I don't think I like Kyle Busch here. He'll probably finish in the top 10. That's kind of what I'm projecting him for, which is fine. But still, for the most part, probably not going to go there. Martin Truex Jr. starts fourth. He's $11,100, and I really like Truex here. I think Truex is going to be someone who has a very good race here. Fifth best average finish at Vegas over the last few years, second best at intermediates, and fifth best at steep tracks. When you look at average position, he has the second best average position at Vegas, the third best at intermediates, and the third best at steep tracks, and he has 135 laps led at Vegas, 1,400 at intermediates, and 787 at steep tracks. So, yeah, I'm going to like Martin Truex Jr. a lot here. He looks like a really good play, starts fourth. He should get to the front pretty quickly. He had a fast car last week at Homestead as well. So Martin Truex Jr., I mean, he is kind of expensive, but still, I don't mind paying for that at all. I think he's a very good play. I'm going to want to get to him. Ryan Blaney starts 26 at $10,800. And Ryan Blaney, man, he's been bad to start the year. Honestly, he's been bad since about halfway through last year. He just has not been good, which kind of worries me. But he did have this race won a year ago. Like, he was winning this race with 2 laps ago before a caution came out, and it kind of screwed him over, so that sucked. But he does still have the 8th best average finish at Vegas, 9th best at intermediates, and 10th best at steep tracks, but he always runs better. 4th best average position at Vegas, 5th best at intermediates, and 8th best at steep tracks. That's just what it is. I mean, something always happens with him. He always either wrecks or messes up. Something happens with Blaney. It's kind of been a story of his career the last 2 years. He's always running well, and then something happens, and he loses the race. Especially last year in this race. I mean, he literally had it won, and out of his control, he lost. So that sucks. Blaney starts 26, offers us some place differential upside. I think he can hit that. I think this is going to be a spot that I like Blaney here. I'm fine paying for him. I don't think he's one of my top plays. He's expensive. I don't think he's a lock to get like a top 5 here. Probably a top 10, top 15 is what we got to expect from Ryan Blaney, and that's fine at $10,800. Probably would rather play for other guys who think could dominate in this price range, but still, I think he's a fine play. Chase Elliott's $10,600. He starts 8th. I like Chase Elliott here. Chase Elliott, he doesn't have a good average finish in Vegas, but last year he had the best car. He was going to win this race by far. And then he had, I forgot what kind of issue. It was like, I don't remember, he had some sort of engine issues or something happened with the car, and it screwed him. I honestly forgot what it is, but something happened with the car, and he finished like 20th, 26th or something like that. He didn't have a good run. So his average finish is not going to look great, but he has the 4th best average position at Vegas, so that does show it. He has 155 laps led here over the last 3 years, 690 intermediates, and 787 at steep tracks. We know what Chase Elliott brings to the table. He's, a reigning champion, really great driver. I don't think a lot of people are going to play him because I think people are going to play Truex after last week's great run. They're going to play Blaney starting farther back. They're going to play Brad and Joey starting farther back. So I don't think Chase Elliott's going to get a lot of ownership. And I think he could dominate this race, especially the way Hendrick's looked so far this year. I mean, like, Hendrick this year, man, they already look like they're off to a great start. But Chase Elliott didn't really have a great race last year. But, Byron won, Larson had a great race, Bowman looked fast, and then Chase Elliott didn't. But, I mean, still Hendrick. They'll probably get it figured out this week. I'd expect that from a champion, from a championship team. So I do like Chase Elliott here, starting 8th. I think he provides us some good Dominator upside. Brad Keselowski's on the cover today. I do like Brad Keselowski starting 10th here at $10,300. Very good. This is a very good track for him. 3rd best average finish at Vegas, 4th best at intermediates, and 6th at steep tracks. When you look at average position, he has the 6th best at Las Vegas, 7th at intermediates, and 2nd at steep tracks. Not as many laps led, only 94 at Vegas over the last few years, 948 at intermediates, and 721 at steep tracks. But Keselowski was fast last week at the beginning of the race, in the day portion of the race, and this is going to be a day race. So I do like Keselowski here. I don't think a lot of people. I mean, I know I just said they'll play him more than Chase. I don't know about that. I think people are going to play Logano, Blaney, Truex more still. Kevin Harvick. They're all going to play them more than Keselowski. So I like Keselowski here as a potential dominator. Starts 10th, offers us a little bit of place differential as well. Has the third best odds to win this race too. So Keselowski at $10,300 is going to be someone I want to focus on as a dominator because I just don't think he's going to be too highly owned. Him and Chase Elliott I like a lot. Joey Logano starts 15th at $10,000. He won this race a year ago. Really good at Las Vegas. 4th best average finish here. 5th best at intermediates and 4th at steep tracks, and he even runs better usually. 3rd best average position at Vegas. 2nd best at intermediates, only to 6th at steep tracks. He has 317 laps led at Las Vegas over the last 3 years, which is the second most in the field. 1,100 laps led at intermediates and 743 at steep tracks. So all that's going to make me really like Joey Logano here. He projects out as a really good play here for me. Starting 15th, offers his place differential upside, offers his dominator upside. I think he can win this race. Right now, he is my pick to win this race. Is Joey Logano. That's who I think wins. We didn't really see the speed from him last week, but we did from his teammate Keselowski at the beginning of the race. He kind of fell off a little bit, but still, I mean that's just for a team that's been so strong here. Like I mean, literally they have been the best team at Vegas over the last few years. I'm just I love Joey Logano here. I think he's a really good play. All right, we got to talk about Kevin Harvick. He's going to be the chalk this week, 100% starting on the pole. But I kind of want to talk about, this is something I've kind of started to notice over, especially last year, this whole no practice, no qualifying thing. So, because the pole sitter has always been someone that just gets a ton of ownership because people expect him to be the fastest car. But NASCAR's different now. Like, there's not qualifying, there's not practice, there's none of that. It's a random draw, or it's not random draw, it's some formula or whatever they use to set the starting lineup. So it's not necessarily the fastest car starting on a pole here. And last year, I think the pole sitter was in the optimal lineup, I think 3 times. And last week even saw the same thing with Denny Hamlin. Now I know he got sent to the back, so you can just, let's say Joey Logano was starting on the pole then. He didn't do anything. I don't think he led 1 lap. So like I don't understand. I don't especially when you're going to get someone with this much ownership, like Kevin Harvick. I mean, starting on the pole. I think it's worth it to leverage the field and not play him and to fade the pole sitter. It's something that's tough, especially with Kevin Harvick. Looking at his numbers, you see 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Like, he's great at these intermediate tracks, so I know that. But at the same time, like, Stewart-Haas Racing wasn't fast last week. Harvick was not that fast last week. The whole team kind of missed the setup when he got there. So Kevin Harvick is someone that I'm a little bit worried about, especially if he's going to be super highly owned. I just kind of want to fade the pole sitter. I just don't think I think the ownership's going to be super high, and I don't think it's necessarily worth it. Now that could kill me, and there's probably going to be a few races this year where the pole sitter, leads the most laps and it's a dominant car, and I'm going to get screwed. But I'm kind of leaning towards, not playing the pole sitter a lot now, and it just seems scary to me. The pole sitter has the lowest floor in the race because they can drop the most amount of spots. However, we're used to seeing the pole sitter in past years be the guy who's really fast in practice, led qualifying. So you expect him to get out front and lead laps. Here, it's just kind of a formula. We have no idea which cars are fast coming into this race. So Kevin Harvick, with all the ownership he's going to get in tournaments, I think it's worth a fade. Again, I could be wrong. This could screw me over, but at the same time, it's a risk I'm willing to take because I think more often than not this year, the pole sitter is not going to be optimal. So, this could be one of the few times he is, but look, we saw last week the pole sitter wasn't optimal. We saw at Sonoma, Chase Elliott, I know he led laps, but he wasn't optimal. Like, that's what we're going to have to look at this year. I'm probably going to be saying the same thing next week. I don't even know where they're racing next week, but I'm going to be saying the same thing again. So, Kevin Harvick, I'm scared of him. Look, he's great at this track. He's great at this type of tracks. I don't have to say that twice, but it worries me. Kyle Larson, I love Larson here. Starts third, $9,400. The Hendrick cars look really, really fast. 6th best average finish at Vegas, 6th at intermediates, and 2nd at steep tracks. All those were in the number 42 car, which is way worse. I thought Kyle Larson, honestly, was going to have a little bit of a rough start to the season, but he is not. I was wrong. He has come out and been great. He would have won Sonoma if he didn't crash himself. That pissed me off. But that was not fun for me on my DraftKings lineups at that moment. I was very disappointed. And then last week he had 3rd best car. He was running up in the top 5 the whole race. And he just looked really fast. So Kyle Larson at $9,400, love him. Denny Hamlin starts 6th, $9,200. Hasn't really been great at Vegas, only the 13th best average finish, but 8th at intermediates, 9th at steep tracks. Hasn't even run well, only the 10th best average position. I think he's fine. 125 laps led here. If you want to go to him, that's fine by me. Offers his Dominator potential. I'd probably prefer Logano, Keselowski, Elliott, Truex, and Larson as Dominator over Hamlin in this race, but it's Denny Hamlin. Like, I'm not going to tell you not to play him. Matty Benedetto starts 30th. Okay, so we got to talk about Matty D because, look, there's that number 1 right there at Vegas that everyone's going to see this week. Oh, my gosh, Matty Benedetto has the best average finish at Las Vegas. But, like, not really. He does, but the only stats I use for Matty Benedetto are last year's because that's when he was actually in good equipment. I don't really care about the crap cars he was in because what are you supposed to do with that? So this data spreadsheet only has data from last year. And Matty Benedetto finished 2nd in both races at Vegas a year ago. So he's going to have the best average finish. However, he was not running there. He had the 8th best average running position at Vegas, which is still good, but it wasn't the best. And the only reason he finished 2nd in both those races is because there was a late caution from a few laps ago. He stayed out on tire strategy, and he just held out in there towards the front. That's literally it. That is literally all it was. He was not up there running 2nd the whole race. Like, Matty Benedetto is not winning this race. Like, it's just not happening. Starting 30th though, he does offer us a lot of place differential. I will say that. Like, that's definitely there. I think he get a top 15. That's kind of what I'm expecting from him. Honestly, his ceiling maybe a top 10, but even that's a little bit high, I think, especially the way he's been running this year. It's not like I know he's had a lot of bad luck and wrecking everything, but it's not like he was running well before all that stuff happened. So, Matty D, yeah, I mean, if you want to go there, I mean, he's fine. It's just he is expensive, and you're paying a lot for place differential. I'd probably rather pay $400 less for Eric Almirola, starting 2 spots higher. So, yeah. Alex Bowman, love Alex Bowman here. Alex Bowman was going to finish 2nd in this race a year ago. 2nd place, he had this race finished before that caution came out. Bowman was flying, or maybe it was 3rd. I don't remember. It was 2nd or 3rd. Logano might have passed him right at the end there. But, man, Alex Bowman was fast. It's been fast at these intermediate tracks. 10th best average finish at Vegas. The average finishes aren't going to really show it, especially because, a lot of the stats aren't just last year. But this guy's been absolutely torching it. Let me go look at fast laps, because fast laps are very, very important. He has 602 laps led at intermediate tracks, but last year he had 61 fast laps at Vegas. Only 5 laps led, but 61 fast laps. He has 551 fast laps at intermediate tracks and 347 at steep tracks compared to the 89 laps led. All we need for Bowman is to get out front, but, like, that's the thing. Alex Bowman, fast laps count for DraftKings. So when we're looking at fast lap stats, like, I mean, that's great. They're worth more points. I love the drivers that are going to get the fast laps, and if he can get out front, I mean, I honestly kind of think Alex Bowman might win this race. It just feels like it's time. Like, we saw Byron win last week. Hendrick looks really, really fast. This is a track he's done well at. Almost won this race a year ago. I think Bowman might win. He's 2,001 on DraftKings right now. That might be a bet worth placing if you're in a place where you can bet. So, Alex Bowman, $8,800, love it. I want to pay for him. I think he's got Dominator upside. I'm really expecting a breakout from him this year, and we've seen consistent run from him last week. He was fast last week, at a top 10 last week. So, Alex Bowman, I was high on him last week. He got his fast laps. He did what he was supposed to do. He had a good race for us. He didn't do exact. I mean, obviously we wanted more, but he was fine. So, Alex Bowman, I'm going to go back to him. I'm probably going to keep going back to him every intermediate track this year. So, just be prepared for that. This is going to be a guy I'm really high on all year long. Eric Almirola is $8,600. Fine with him. He starts 28th. Offers his place differential upside. 12th best average finish at Vegas. 12th intermediates and 11th at steep tracks. Fine by me. He should be contending for a top 15. Maybe contending for a top 10. Love it. William Byron. So, all right. This is an interesting one. I'm really interested to see where William Byron's ownership comes in, because historically in NASCAR DraftKings we've seen after a driver wins a race, the next week they come in and have a ton of ownership. But this is William Byron this time. Like, it's not Kevin Harvick, it's not Denny Hamlin, it's not Joey Logano. Like, it's not one of your top tier drivers. William Byron dominated last week and won. He was the best car last week. He was the best driver last week. William Byron. He starts 2nd now, and Hendrick just looks fast. He's got a new crew chief. This could be the year we've been waiting for William Byron to just break out. But his stats at Vegas are not good. 22nd best average finish, 17th at intermediates, 20th at steep tracks. Like, this is not a track where William Byron has done very well historically. So I'm interested to see, because a lot of times, most of the time, ownerships in tournaments is based off of track history. That's what a lot of people love to go off, track history. But William Byron doesn't have good track history. So I'm really interested to see what happens here. I think his car's going to be really fast again. Hendrick looks really good. I honestly would not even be surprised if he leads lap 1. Like, if he passes Harvick on the first lap, I wouldn't be shocked at all. Not even a little bit. That car was really fast. I expect him to be fast all year. Um, and I'm always gonna be a little bit biased with William Byron because he's kind of like my favorite driver since I go to Liberty. But like I do think that this car is fast. I understand not wanting to play him, but I'm probably going to get some ownership to him. Not going to be one of my top 3 dominators. I mean, I think Alex Bowman more likely dominates this race than William Byron, to be honest, because his car has been faster most of the time. But that was last year. This is this year, so we'll see. I'm going to play some Byron. It'll be interesting to see what happens. It's a tournament play only for me. I'm not going there in cash. Kurt Busch starts 7th. Look, everyone's going to go, oh my gosh, Kurt Busch won last year. Yeah, Kurt Busch, that was his only good race at Vegas he's had in the last 3 years. Literally. 14th best average finish, and before that it was like 18th. He's not good at this track. I mean, only reason he won last year is because of pit strategy at the end of the race, late race caution. That's literally the only reason he won. He's like, I don't want to play Kurt Busch at all. I know he's been fast this year, but I still don't want to play Kurt Busch. Tyler Reddick is $7,900, starts 11th. I think he's interesting. Hasn't really been good at Vegas, only the 21st best average finish, and at intermediate 16th average finish, and at steep track 16th. Even the average running position hasn't been great, but I think he can hang around inside the top 10. That car looks fast. Obviously, it looked fast at Homestead. I mean, like, he's great there. I mean, I just kind of want to throw that race out when I'm looking at Reddick for other races. I think he's fine though. I mean, he's just someone that might fall into my lineup. It's probably not a top tier option though. Christopher Bell. Look, no one's talking about Christopher Bell this week, but he starts 16th and he's in a Joe Gibbs racing car. Everyone was talking about him last week after he won the Roval, and they expect him to come out and do great at Homestead. Like, come on. I like Bell here. He should be able to compete for a top 10. He's in a good car. I think he's a good driver. His stats are, from way worse equipment than he is in now, so I'm fine with Christopher Bell here. I like Austin Dillon starting 12th. I think he should, hang around his starting position, compete for a top 10. 11th best average finish at Vegas is really good. 15th intermediates and 13th at steep tracks. I think this could be a good race for him. Man, Chase Briscoe sucked last week. I mean, we got lucky that he finished 18th. He was running in the 30s the whole race. I don't know what was going on. I guess he's just not used to this new package yet with the Cup Series. That's all I could say at this point. So it scares me paying for Chase Briscoe here, starting 24th, but I believe in the talent that he has. And I mean, I think he could get a top 15 out of this race, and maybe compete for a top 10. So at $7,400, I'm going to be interested in Chase Briscoe. Only going to go there for tournaments though. Ross Chastain, $7,300, starting 21st. Yeah, I'm not going to go there. I'm not really. I don't think Chastain's that good anyway. And then pairing him with the car that's not all that, I think he hangs around 21st all day. So I'm probably not going to go there. Eric Jones is interesting. Like, I don't really like to look at Eric Jones' past stats because that was in Joe Gibbs Racing Equipment. Now he's racing for Richard Petty Motorsports. I'm not going to be all that excited about Eric Jones here, but I mean, he could compete for a top 20, and that could do it for us. So who's going to finish higher, Eric Jones or Bubba Wallace? Because these two, I mean, I guess Bubba Wallace didn't take Eric Jones' ride, but he's in a JGR car. So basically, they swapped rides. And Bubba Wallace has been terrible, man. Terrible, terrible. And he starts 23rd, but he's in a top 10 car. He's literally in a top 10 car, and he's only getting it, like, not even top 20. So, I mean, I get not wanting to play Bubba, but I'm going to believe in that car every single time. And I'm going to play Bubba Wallace starting 23rd. It's got top 10 upside because of how good that car is. $7,000. I'll play it. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is not going to get ownership starting 17th. He has top 12 upside, I guess you could say. I mean, he could get inside that top 10, but I doubt it. Offers his place differential upside. No one's going to play Ricky Stenhouse Jr. No one ever does. I always like playing Ricky. He was fast last week. Was running him in the top 5 for a little bit. So at $1,600, I'm going to be interested there. Ryan Newman starting 13th. He's not getting another top 10. I mean, maybe he could. Maybe Roush is going to ball out of nowhere this year. We saw Buescher lead laps last week and Newman get a top 10, but I don't expect Newman to do that again. I'm not going to play him. I love Cole Custer here. He's way too cheap. $6,500 starting 20th. Cole Custer, man, was running in the top. He was running 8th place at like 2 laps ago, and he blew a tire. And he finished like 20-something. He shouldn't have. Like, I mean, Cole Custer should have. That car he was looking great. Custer's looked great this year. Starting 20th, I think he could compete for a top 10 again. It's $6,500. That's definitely going to pay off that salary. Chris Buescher starting 18th. I'm sure he's going to get some ownership this week after what he did last week. Like, people are going to think he can dominate. Like, he's probably not dominating again and getting Dominator points. But starting 18th, I think he has upside to get inside that top 10. And at $6,400, I'm going to want to play that. Corey LaJoy, I'm off of. I mean, Corey LaJoy, that Spire car's trash. Like, it's not good. Don't play Corey LaJoy. This is not. No. Daniel Suarez, I am interested in, though. He starts 22nd. He's still too cheap. This Trackhouse racing car is good. It's basically a Richard Childress racing car. It's basically an RCR car. He has top 20 upside, top 15 upside. I mean, the punting range kind of sucks this week. Like, all these cheap guys suck, so I don't really want to play them. But the only guy down here I think I would be kind of interested in is Suarez. Michael McDowell, like, I know he's been great this year, but he still starts too high. Ryan Preece starts too high. Anthony Alfredo starts 27th. This one's kind of interesting, but I think he kind of just hangs around there. If somehow he gets lucky and can finish inside the top 20, then yeah, that's probably the one other spot I go to down there. I'm not going to play Haley, Half, McLeod, McLeod, Hill, Balicki, Smithley, Gates, and Cody Ware. I'm not playing any of those guys. So, yep, that's really all I got on this video. Thank you guys so much for checking this out. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you watched this before the Truck Series race. Be sure to go watch the Truck Series video. If you're watching this before the Xfinity Series race, be sure to watch the Xfinity Series video. I know I forgot to mention this at the beginning because I always do. Going live on Sunday, 12 o'clock, to discuss this slate more, answer any of your questions. Be sure to be there for that as well. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and let's make some money.